PBKC is your entertainment destination for poker, table games, OTB, Paddock live events, and exceptional eats. The Paddock Restaurant is perfect for meetings, corporate functions, parties, fundraising, and more. Call 561-683-2222 extension 199 and book your next event today. It's Wednesday morning. It's 10 a.m. It's time for PBKC Picks, broadcasting live right here at the Palm Beach Kennel Club in West Palm Beach, Florida. We have the whole crew.
We do.
Pat and I are in the front seat, and the kids are in the back. And we're going to have a great
Are we
show.
there?
Are they
Hi,
strapped
Daddy.
in?
Are we there yet?
Exactly. I wasn't here last week. Noah was in the driver's seat.
I was.
Took a couple
I
wrong
drove.
turns, but you did a great job, Noah.
Thanks, Mike. I
You
appreciate
did awesome,
it.
yeah.
You did. And
I did.
I'm sitting next to the president of PBKC. That's Pat Rooney.
Trust me, Mike, if he did a bad job, we would be all over it. He did do a good
Oh,
job.
wow.
Nice.
You know the world's going to be on
cannot say
fire
anything
now.
else. I
Right?
cannot say anything else.
Yeah.
I did want to give a quick shout out. It's our fearless other assistant GM's birthday today, Alexis Barber's.
Oh.
50
birthday.
years old.
Oh, wow.
50.
Milestone birthday.
I know you shouldn't say a woman's age.
No, 50.
in
That's a
public.
milestone. That's a big one.
Hey, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. So.
They gave Barbish a 50.
Yep.
I love it.
I'm getting her a cane soon, so.
Oh, my God.
Happy birthday, Alex. He's the only one that could say that,
Happy
honestly.
50.
And right behind Pat
I'd
is
say it.
Ernest Christian.
What's up? I can't
What's
go
up,
there like
Ernest?
Kane comments funny.
He's speechless. Behind me, that's Noah
Right.
Carbone.
It's good to have you back, Mike. Where were you?
I was traveling around the world,
Oh, amazing.
obviously at
Slacker.
Epcot and Disney. So, but let's talk about March high hands. That's what's going on right now. Go for the green every 15 minutes, 9 a.m. to midnight. $15,000 cash giveaways on the 28th, and that is progressive high hand weekends also with that big $100,000 giveaway. And now we're going to get into the NFL free agency news. There's a lot of things that have happened in the last week, namely what happened yesterday, and that was a major trade. Jalen Waddle is now going to the Denver Broncos for multiple draft picks. How do we feel about what the Dolphins have done in this free agency season, and any other teams that should make the changes that they're making?
I mean, Noah probably doesn't want to hear this. I absolutely love what the Dolphins are doing. Like I said, they knew they were in kind of the mushy middle. Like they just weren't getting their 7-8 wins, and Tua just wasn't going to be the answer. You can try to keep patching that together and see if we can get one guy and is he going to make the difference or whatever, or you can make the fundamental decision to knock everything down, start building it back up. I think the fans are okay with that as long as there's a plan, which getting a first-round pick for Waddle, I think, is an unbelievable steal. I think that's a great get by the Dolphins. Now they have some ammunition going into this draft and next year and probably the year after that they can try and get that quarterback that they've been trying to get really since Dan Marino left. So that's the big thing with all these teams. You've got to get the quarterback. We've said that a zillion times on this show, and I think the Dolphins at least have the ammo and probably not going to finish great next year, but I think they're okay with that. The draft, not this year, next year should be really good for quarterbacks. They should have a top 5 pick next year, and if they don't, they should be able to get in the top 5 with the ammunition that they have. So I really like what the Dolphins are doing. Just get it down to the studs and let's start rebuilding this thing. Get a new attitude in here. Get rid of some of these guys that are, just have been paid and haven't produced what we thought they were going to do, and start all over. I have no issue with it at all, and I think they got great value for Waddle.
I wish we creative, and be different from you, but I agree with you. Like, this trade is really a tale of two teams where they're at different directions. The Denver Broncos are literally a Super Bowl contender. You get Waddle, that kind of completes where they're at now and adds to Bo Nick's arsenal. But to me, the highlight of this whole thing is the Dolphins, what they did here. I said on social media yesterday, they get an A+ for what they've done so far this offseason because, like I said, with Tua. Like, people think Tua stinks, and yes, there's some case that we said that he does stink. But here's the thing. Tua also is good enough to win you 6 to 10 games, which has been done his entire career. So you need to choose a direction, like the mushy middle. Do you want to try to patch it up and try to keep this thing going, which I typically don't mind that because I rather try to do good as you can. But at the same time, you need a direction. And the Miami Dolphins, with clearing the new head coach and new GM and everything, and what they're doing with the entire roster, they are just this is literally what a real rebuild looks like. They have done a phenomenal job turning us down. And I know Dolphin fans are frustrated. Have won a playoff game in 26 years and all that, and I get that. But this was not going to work with the way they were put together last year. It was never going to work. So they have a clear direction now. It's going to take about 3 to 5 years probably to get out of the underwater, if you will. I know the Dolphins, of course, but whatever. They're doing the right thing here. I'm very, very I'm glad to see what they're doing here.
Yeah, so that was the easy part. The easy part is cut the roster, let everybody go.
Yeah.
Let Tua, who was once coined, I heard actually coined Tan Marino.
Was that thing real?
I was
wow.
heard he was coined Tan Marino. He wasn't, so they let him go. So you get all these picks and you stockpile. That's the easy part. Anybody on this panel here could literally go in and say, okay, let's trade these away and get these picks. They did that. Now you have to hit on the picks, and that's going to be the big point here. Like, how good is your scouting team?
Yes.
And how good are you assessing the talent? Because you've done this. You got to, and you got somebody. You drafted these guys, and now you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're like, okay, how do we do this different? Unless they draft better than they typically have. We could be talking about this another 6 or 8 years down the road where, you tried to rebuild, you miss again, and here we are. So the easy part's done now for the heavy lifting.
Okay, Pat, give me a team, and this is your own opinion, that should do what the Dolphins have done.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, I think you had your Raiders have kind of done this. So, and again, they are a team that should do it. They've been, unlike the Dolphins, the Raiders have actually been really bad. So they don't really have anything to lose by getting it, bare bones here at this juncture. I like a lot of the guys that they picked up in free agency. I think they've done a good job again about building at least some of the foundation for that team to go forward. But like everything else, quarterback is going to now they're going to have a quarterback. I don't know. No, it's just what you're saying. Yeah, they do have to draft well. And even in that case, some of the best guys and best minds in football still don't draft quarterbacks well, especially in the first round. If you look at the history of it, a lot of these first-round picks are not only bust, they don't play. Like they play for, like Zach Wilson, they play for a few games, and it's like, this guy can't play. So it's going to be imperative for any team, but especially like the Dolphins or the Jets or the Raiders, to have a quarterback that they can build around. And once you have that, all these other things can fall into place fairly quickly. You can go out and get a wide receiver, get a stud tight end or a running back or whatever you need to make him feel comfortable. But until you have that guy, all that other stuff is a waste of time, in my opinion. Getting receivers and running backs and tight ends when you don't have a quarterback, I just think it's a waste of time. Now you can do the alternative though. You can build the lines, which we've talked about, like with the Steelers. Build the lines. That's good too. Those guys generally can play 10 to 12 years. Running backs and receivers, receivers can play a little bit longer, but running backs are generally only good for about 4 years. So by the time you get good, that running back that you had is done. So get the line guys straight, and then get the quarterback. Hope it works out. It doesn't always. In fact, most times it doesn't. But at least you're trying to do that. And that's something I think the Raiders, I give them some credit for acknowledging that and doing it this offseason.
So this question really applies to, for me anyway, when you ask this question, Mike, like, who should be doing this? Like, if you're a bad team like the Raiders and the Jets, you're already there. You're already in purgatory. So it doesn't matter. You can't really do much worse, honestly. So this question really applies to teams like, who are in the, as Pat can say, the mushy middle, teams that are kind of like, there's really no clear direction, but they're not terrible, but they're not really great. So, like, the Dolphins were in that conversation. Like, they were still a playoff contender until, like, week 16 last year. So, they're not a terrible team until now, anyway. I think, to burst the bubble here, but I think the Steelers are one of those teams that should have been doing this probably a year or two ago, and especially now with the new head coach. That's why I'm still confused about the Mike McCarthy hire, because is McCarthy a guy that you retool with, or a team you rebuild with? I look at the guy that you retool with, and the Steelers, there's no answer. I mean, I know we have a rule here where we can't say Aaron Rodgers' name, but we're down. Was it March 18th today? We have no clear direction what he's doing. and there's no quarterback. I mean, by the way,
Don't do it. Don't
we
bring
gotta,
it up.
we got a draft in a month. We got a draft in a month here right now. So again, this is one of those things where like the Steelers are probably, in my opinion, should have done something like this. Honestly, after Tomlin left, because I mean, what are you doing? I mean, the AFC Central, almost said the Central like it's like in the 80s. The North is it's crowded right now. The Browns going to be a little bit better. Bengals, if Burrow's healthy, is still really good. The Ravens still really good. So I think if you're the Steelers, this is the team you should have been doing this a long time ago.
So when you look at this question, what teams have done the best in free agency? What we have to ask ourselves is all the teams that are doing best in free agency, the Dolphins, the Raiders, they've made mistakes, and they're paying for those mistakes now. So we can't forget the process and how that works. So we're like, oh, they had a great free agency. Yeah, the reason why they had a great free agency and are fire-sailing everything and doing all these moves and signing players or whatever is because they're not good at making decisions. So now they're going through these cycles again. The teams, the quiet teams who's not good at free agency. Now, somebody like Denver who's making a move, they're not paying Baltimore maybe. But the Raiders and the Dolphins, when you say, oh, they're having a great free agency, that's because they've had some bad probably 10 years in a row that are bad football.
Yeah.
Well, I think to your point, though, Noah, that you can look at it, who's doing well in free agency versus who has to do well in free agency.
Right,
and that's if you want to know the teams I think that are doing the best just in free agency, I would put the Steelers up there. Again, they don't have a quarterback, but the other guys that they got so far are pretty good. I'd put Kansas City in there, and I'd put San Francisco in there. I think those teams have improved themselves, but have they gotten to Kansas City and San Francisco accepted, but have they gotten to the ability to say, all right, we're now at another level now where we can compete. Pittsburgh isn't there yet because they don't have a quarterback right now. But San Fran and Kansas City, assuming Mahomes comes back at some point during the year, I think they've improved themselves based on the guys that they got in terms of plugging guys in that were needs and are going to be much better than guys they had in there last year.
Yeah, and I agree. There's haves and have-nots. So the have-nots are making these desperate moves and aggressive play and overpaying guys and some doing some other things.
Yeah.
When the teams that are the haves, they're taking a little slower and they're taking picking up guys, value guys like Pat's saying for the Steelers. And then you get into the draft. The same exact thing happens in the draft. The good teams don't have to reach and they don't have to grab for a guy. They could go by their scouting and pick the best player on the board and all those things. And that really starts to perpetuate itself.
Yeah, my team in free agency is the 49ers this year. I mean, the signing of Mike Evans, now they just signed Christian Kirk yesterday.
Man. I think he's a great
I think it's amazing. You got Brock Purdy, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got Kittle. Now you have Mike Evans, you have Kirk. I mean, who's stopping that team in the NFC, Pat?
No, I mean, Warner's going to be back. The guys that got hurt last year, and assuming they don't suffer that kind of carnage again this year, those guys should all be pretty healthy. Didn't think of that Greenwall back, the guy that got hurt too, and then I think he went to another team. They have a core group. The issue with the 49ers is they're in the toughest division in football. So they're going to have to deal with the Rams and the Seahawks again. So that's the tough part for them. Can they get out of that division and win that division? I think they can with that firepower. But, you're going to have to beat the defending champ, and you're going to have to beat another really good team in the Rams, and that's difficult. So that's the tough thing for San Francisco. If they were in virtually any other division, I'd put them as the Super Bowl favorite right now. But because of that division, that's the tough part for them.
The only team that beats the Niners is the Niners, because the Niners' injuries that would cost them a lot of these. Even look at last year. They went 12-5 last year with Brock Purdy missing more than half the year and all the countless injuries. And they got a break with McCaffrey actually being healthy for once. You can't bet on that next year and beyond. So the Niners, I mean, they'll beat themselves if anything. But another team that I thought did, and no one's going to hate this when I say this, but another team I think did a pretty decent job and actually made a good signing. And then, you don't want to say.
The Eagles? Giants?
Mr. Miniature
talk about the
Kyler Murray. I love that move because now at least the Vikings had a very bad quarterback room last year.
Now they got
and
went
9-8 in that division when no one had a losing record.
Right.
You can tell Kyler Murray can get you like 2 or 3 more wins in that division.
Yeah, got a new
if he's healthy. I mean, Minnesota's has a very good roster. So I think for maybe they're a team that should tank also too, but no, they have questions to answer to also. So they just went 14-3 2 years ago. So I think the Vikings are going to be one of those teams that we'll see. They could be frisky, throw their name out there. But other teams, the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs did pretty well. Again, I'm still confused about are they retooling, are they rebuilding, and now when you sign a guy like Kenneth Walker and all these guys like
Justin Fields,
now, you make is Mahomes coming back sooner than we think? We haven't heard anything yet about that. I mean, one source says that he's out till November. No source says he's going to make it to training camp. So I'll say October to put in the middle. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of question marks here with all these teams in terms of where they're going to be at and whatnot. But it's actually a very more intriguing offseason than I thought it would be, honestly.
So, Pat, we've talked about running backs. I want to ask this question on a weekly basis to try to build like the perfect NFL team going into next season. Right now, if you could have one running back that's a current player right now, who would you put on your Super Bowl team?
Well, Earnest already let the cat out of the bag. I'd take McCaffrey, but, he does have an injury issue. But I think he's the best running back. He's one of the best players offensively in the NFL. Yeah. He's a jack of all trades. He can do a bunch. He can block. He can catch out of the backfield. He can be a receiver. He can do so much for that team, and he's a really good hard-nosed running back. He's just a winner. Like, he's a football player, and he's a winner, and he has ability. When you have all those things, man, you've got a great recipe for an unbelievable Hall of Fame type player. The issue with him is he gets hurt. But I would absolutely – now, if you want a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs or somebody from Detroit, like who's just speed and all that kind of stuff, I do like Walker. I like him after the Super Bowl. I think he's a really good running back. But if it's one guy, I would take McCaffrey and hope he stays healthy.
Well, we had this guy in my team a couple years ago, and, I know he's getting a little older.
This actually happened.
Getting a little older, but, if you're talking about a one-year sample just for next year, I'm still taking Saquon Barkley. Without question, the guy is the prototype. He is, in my opinion, one of the most talented running backs in history of the game. That's not even a conversation.
Wow.
For 1 year. Now, if you're talking about 5 years, different conversation. But for 1 year, going to next season, Saquon Barkley with a bullet.
Yeah, we literally ran an experiment on this in Philadelphia. We brought in Saquon and won the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I'm going Saquon.
Yeah.
So.
Noah, you didn't get to pick your quarterback. This was a couple of weeks ago. I asked this. Who's your Super Bowl winning quarterback
for next
year?
If all the other pieces were equal and you had everything, like if you could put them on any roster with the best roster in the Super Bowl, who you're going to have play, I'm going to have Jalen Hurts play.
Wow.
Yeah, I am.
That's
I'm
not shocking.
You want to do a redo on that one quick?
Who do you want? You want Patty Mahomes?
Ask the question again.
Who do you want?
I had Josh Allen.
I took Joe Burrow.
Josh Allen's so you're talking wild card with Josh Allen because you don't know which Josh Allen you're going to get. I was looking for consistency to give you the best chance to win is what I was thinking.
Well, we have our producers laughing over there.
Yeah,
that was an
don't
LOL.
ask me.
It's funny. This is uncomfortable for me because I actually.
If you don't want to hear it, don't ask.
This is so uncomfortable for me because I actually love Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Since college. So I don't want to knock the guy, but I'm talking about the most talented guy.
He has a pretty good track record for winning games.
He does. He does. But can he?
So.
Okay, if you swap Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts in their current situations, can Jalen Hurts take the Buffalo Bills team to the Super Bowl?
No, we were talking about.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you had to change the rest of the roster, I was talking about the rest of the roster. If you talk about a player who's not going to lose you to Super Bowl, it's Jalen Hurts. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't hate the answer for the record, but
they have to get there. Now we're going to talk about Hard Rock Bet. They've got a lot of great stuff going on.
This is a big week.
I was just on Hard Rock Bet last night playing the World Baseball Classic. So I'm very familiar with all the great things they got going on there. And now it's double your winnings on your first 10 bets. New members who sign up with the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook make a minimum deposit of $10. You get 100% profit boost tokens, maximum $50 bet per token. And if the wager wins, the customer receives 100% of the profit boost winnings, and those expire 7 days after issuance. Only one token per bet. But obviously, like Noah mentioned with March Madness, just around the corner. It really starts tomorrow.
Yeah,
it really starts tomorrow. You've got to sign up right now, and that's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Got to be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE. Now let's talk about March Madness. We actually have our own bracket contest that you need to enter right now. You have till noon tomorrow to enter this contest.
Right.
Oh, that's a really cool graphic. I've never seen that before.
Wow.
That's awesome, Jake. And so enter, and the easiest thing is it's free. You can just auto pick if you really want to, and the winner of that bracket that doesn't work here is going to win a ticket to one of our monthly multi-flight $100,000 guaranteed poker tournaments, which is a $300 value right there. Noah always gives us those tickets because the poker room is very generous, and you're going to win a ticket to a multi-flight. Just look at it this way. Well, Pat doesn't know about this. Okay.
Pat just gave away $300.
But Ian, who actually we wanted to replace on the show, Earnest place.
It's been 2 months, Ian. Where you at?
Yeah, Ian actually, who won won the ticket for the football contest throughout the season. He finished 9th in the last multi-flag.
You're fired, Ian.
Yeah.
So he got the free ticket, got in the
and
multi-flag.
parlayed it into thousands.
Final table.
That's
so
crazy.
Congrats to Ian on that.
For
and
free.
All you got to do is enter. It's all over social media. I'm going to send it out again right after the show. So enter right now. My pick of the winning team is Arizona. Who do you like, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't studied this as much as I normally do. I think last year there was a lot of chalk. There were a lot of high seeds that made it to the Sweet 16 and the Final Four. I got a feeling that you're going to see that probably again this year. A lot of these teams with the NIL and all that other stuff, the really good teams have really good players. The lesser teams now have some good players too, but they don't have quite as many as the good teams. So there'll be the occasional upset. Don't get me wrong, but I like Arizona. Arizona has a curious stat going against them. There's been one team since 1997. The last team west of the Mississippi to win the national championship was Arizona in '97.
Wow.
So no team has won it in 30 years. That's a long time that they're going to have to overcome.
Wow.
So I like Arizona. I like the way they play. I've said I like Florida. I like Michigan. I obviously like Duke. But I will say this. Jay Billis, who's an analyst, played at Duke. You see him on ESPN a lot. He is excellent at picking these games. I mean, he's almost a clairvoyant with, how he goes through the matchups and those types of things. He does not have Duke in his Final Four, and I don't think he has Florida in his Final Four.
Wow.
So he's going not quite chalk like I'm going. I think he did pick Arizona. I like Arizona, but that's a trend you got to buck. I mean, that's 30 years worth of data right there that they haven't won it. One of the upsets that Jay had was Michigan State losing fairly early. So I don't know. I just named those teams. I like the number 1 seeds. I like all of them, and even the number 2 seeds I think are really good teams. But after that, if you're going to try and pick like a Villanova or NC State or something like that, I mean it can happen. But I just think the good teams this year are really good.
Right. Well, before I answer the question, I'm going to set something up. I like the segue here. I'm going to place the over-under right now at 2.5 number 1 seeds getting to the Final Four. We'll take the over-under in that one.
Is that a bet?
I'm asking you guys.
Oh, you're asking.
Is that on the Hard Rock Bet app?
No, I made it myself.
Wow.
Do you have your own bet app?
No, I'm just asking right now. 2.5 number 1 seeds getting to the Final Four.
Yeah, no.
You get less than that or more than that?
I would go. It's going to be 2. I would say 2.
You get under. Pat, any answer on that one?
Yeah, I think 2 will get in there. I think that's a good number. I don't think you're going to get 3. I think 2 of them will get in there.
I have a 3.
What's my max bet I could put in with you?
So I have 3. I have Florida. I have Duke. I have Michigan. My odd team is going to be Purdue, the 2 seed, to get it in there. I try to find ways to get Duke out of there and maybe get. But I'm looking at the matchups like, do I really see this happening? And then I'm like, probably not. So like the matchups, the way my bracket turned out was like, because I'm always looking for those like edges there with the number 1 seeds getting upset because they're a lot more common now than they used to be. Although last year I think was a little different, but I think also NIL makes it a little harder because a lot of these really good schools are getting better now as a result. But at the same time, some of these schools, like I think Kansas has one of the best players. He's hurt out for the tournament, I think also too. So I think it's one of those things where you have to look out for as well. But I ultimately have Michigan win the whole thing. I think you'll get the Michigan Duke rematch from a couple weeks ago in the final game, and I think that was a great game by the way. But I think Michigan is just so stacked right now, so I'm gonna take Michigan the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Florida. And interesting stat. So we talk about the number 1 seeds. Number 1 seeds win 65% of the time. So if you're going to try to buck that trend, it's tough sledding. Once you get past the 1 seeds, maybe to the 2 seeds, I'd like to see the stats on 3 and below is going to be pretty tough to go ahead and win that thing, like Pat said. All the NIL money in the world, I don't know how long it's going to take to change that, or if there'll be a surprise, or if you'll have one of these years with a prodigy. I can't remember. Does anybody remember a year where there was a prodigy? I remember like Shaq the one year where he was just dominating everything, but another time where the guy like was an oddball in some school who could actually carry a team. It's not so much a thing.
Not very common.
No.
Well, Cooper flagged last year, but he couldn't obviously carry his team to the finals.
He was in Duke, great team.
Yeah, it's true. It was a pretty good team too.
Yeah.
They had that other
Larry
guy.
Bird, Indiana State.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
see,
That's
there
another
you
one.
go.
You got
There
like
you go.
40-something years
See,
though.
he knows.
See, we're going to talk about Larry Bird a little bit later in the show, but now we're going to move on to baseball news. And it's funny, you guys don't know this. Maybe Pat does. The other night on Sunday night, we had the Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Fame here. We actually had two MLB superstars that came in
Really?
for different things. Mo Vaughn,
Wow.
Red
Mo?
Sox player, he was here. And
Former Met
yeah, no.
for like 2 years.
Red
but
Sox.
He's stuck. He's
You know,
stuck in the Met.
if Sully was here, he would jump over that.
Where is he
partition
at?
right
Come on,
now.
Sully. He's coming.
But Joe Girardi was here also.
Really?
Joe
Girardi?
Girardi was here. Great
How about
guy.
it?
He actually got up. His daughter won an award, and he got up and spoke in her behalf. So we got to
nice.
see those two greats over there in the paddock the other night. And actually, just last night, we were setting up for the St. Patrick's Day party, which was amazing over there. It was a packed house over there. And I was talking to Sully, who's one of the producers of the show, and he was talking about the World Baseball Classic. And I told him, I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to bet Venezuela in this one. And, him and Alexis both agreed. I think they had the best shot. They went on to win the World Baseball Classic, defeating the United States 3-2 in the final. I was watching the end of that game. What excitement from
I know
Miami.
Pat loved that.
Yeah, Pat, has your opinion changed on the relevance of the WBC?
Well, let him.
Say no.
Okay.
I mean, I would have liked the USA to win, but I didn't watch really much of this game at all. It was really a horrendous game. The U.S. had 3 hits total. So, I mean, there wasn't much excitement. If you like pitching matchups, then you like this. But Venezuela beat Japan, they beat Dominican, or they beat Italy, and they beat the U.S. So they beat some good teams. I don't think it was like a fluke. They even though this is the first time they've won this, they obviously have some good players on that team. So it just was, to me, it was a matter of the U.S. got a credible break winning the game against Dominican with some calls that probably shouldn't have gone their way. So they got, in a way, lucky to get into this game. But they just didn't hit. Like, Harper had a great home run last night, but he didn't do anything the
I
rest
thought
of
you
the
were going to
series.
praise the guy today. Like, he smashes that thing and does
But he
the
did-
all-time
but he
great
did-
bat toss, greatest of all time.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything the rest of the series.
No.
So
That's his MO, right?
And don't get me wrong, I like Bryce. I mean, he's one of my favorite players on the Phillies, but I just didn't think they just didn't seem to have, like, the team of the U.S. should have more than 3 hits against Venezuela. That's all I'm saying. They needed those bats to come alive, and they just didn't last night. Aaron Judge and Schwarber and those guys just didn't hit. So hats off to Venezuela. They deserve it. They beat some really good teams in this thing. And, the U.S. can retool and try and win it again in 4 years or whenever it is. But, I mean, maybe I'll have some more interest in it at that point.
I just love how he doubles down. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
That's my favorite.
He has
Kick
principles.
him out of the way.
No, but I think one thing I know Pat wasn't big on the whole class as a whole, mainly because he was burned down the whole U.S. against the world thing, and I get all that. But to me, I think the reason why I'm so into this thing, especially too, is that our leagues right now, and maybe the NFL is exempt from this whole conversation, but I think we all crave competition, like real competition. We're not getting that in the NBA in the same way, or in the NHL to some degree, and then baseball, of course, it's hit or miss. But we crave competition, and these U.S. against the world's, with the Olympics recently, and then with even the NBA All-Star game improved, in a big way, and now this. We're getting real competition, real desire, real passion. Like you watch all those games, even in pool play. These crowds are into it, man, because the competition is great. So that's why and now you get back to baseball in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how things go with the season, whatever. But everybody assumes the Dodgers are going to win the whole thing. So there's no purpose of playing the season, but at least to get jacked up for the season, this is great for baseball, honestly.
Yeah, you talk about I just had an idea when you came up with that.
Okay,
right?
what's that?
Ideas.
Okay.
We need more of the equity of what you get paid to go into these things. What if the NBA nobody got paid, right? And then if you win a game, everybody gets paid. You want to see guys play? You want to see guys play defense and play out of their minds when they're playing for their paycheck, because it really matters, and it's not going to be – they get a paycheck no matter what. You could watch and see what would happen with that. But the fabricated – when you fabricate championships – I don't know if it really proves anything, these matchups where it carries everything. And this is going to be a hot take, but I'll give you an example. It's the World Series of Poker. The World Series of Poker is once a year. It's a $10,000 buy-in. Okay, immediately you're eliminating most of the players from even playing in that thing, so the best player is probably sitting at home. But then the amount for the way it's structured, and for a one and done where you have to win the whole thing to be the world champion, and get the bracelet and be the World Series poker champion. You have to dodge so much stuff, and it's similar with this. You're playing one game with your best pitchers, and you're wondering what the guys. We get 3 hits because the best pitchers are out there, and it's not a like a regular series where a 3-game series. It changes the whole thing. So,
of course, yeah.
But I was a little disappointed that Bryce's home run got wasted. I was hoping they'd be able to finish that thing off, but then right in the bottom, the top of the ninth, they give a run back and thing's over. Anticlimactic at best.
Yeah, I think the other teams really wanted this. I think the U.S. Obviously, there were certain things that the manager of the U.S. Made deals with teams, like he wasn't going to have Miller pitch last night simply because the Padres asked him not to start him again. Obviously, Skubal, who went home early, not realizing that it was going to be such a big game. I think if the U.S. puts out their best possible guys, then I really honestly feel like the U.S. wins that. But I think it meant so much more to the other countries. And now speaking of baseball, we are absolutely 1 week away. 1 week from today is the beginning and the opening day for MLB baseball. What are we looking forward to, Pat?
Well, Mike, hope springs eternal for all 58 teams. But just like Ernest alluded to, the Dodgers are going to win this thing, and they might be up 30 games in August, coasting, and the only thing that might stop them from winning, 4-4-4, as Moses Malone said, is if they get disinterested or something. They're just so loaded, and that's what's really going to lead probably to some kind of a lockout or something here in the next couple of years. But I listen. If you're a Pirate fan, there's some hope there. They got Skeens, they got the other kid that's a good pitcher, and they got this kid Connor Griffin who might be the next big thing. Of course, the Pirates will not bring him up right away, so they'll wait till June so they can maintain control over him for an extra year, and by then the Pirates will be out of it. But there is some hope there for some of these other teams. But I just looked at the Yankees are probably going to win in the American League again, and I just think the Dodgers are going to win easily in the National League, and the rest of this is just going and eating hot dogs and enjoying summer weather in a ballpark.
Hot dogs are good though. I mean, I'm really surprised that the Dodgers over/under win is only 102.5. Honestly, I would smash that over. Honestly, they're going to win at least the high end of like 108 to 109 games at least this year. I just don't see them winning less than that. Honestly, they're just stacked, dude. Like to me, the only competition as I see, like there's always some good teams in the National League. Like the Phillies will hang around, of course. The Mets, if they get their crap together, of course, they'll hang around. Obviously with the talent they have there, but ultimately, you know the story in that side of the bracket. But the American League, that thing's wide open because the Yankees should be the favorites, but you saw what happened to the Mariners last year, and you saw a couple teams that played well last year. So I think the American League is actually very intriguing in terms of like positioning and whatnot. But yeah, I would smash you over in the Dodgers 102.5 wins this year.
Yeah, the Dodgers are obviously clear favorite, but like Pat said, you have your team and you have hopes, and the Yankees, and there's always Skeens. Like you could go and get Skeens, and you could bring them in and make that happen, and help the Pittsburgh Pirates out to keep doing what they do every year. But the Yankees pitching is going to be a little tough. Their bats, they could almost keep up, I believe. And also don't forget, so you have to navigate in the East. You have the American League and National League, and you have to navigate those waters. Yeah. The Yankees have a path where they could get there, and then you're playing 7 games. So we're talking about reducing it, and you bring it down to 7 games. Anything can happen in 7 games. I know it's a little tougher, but if they're not the second favorite, I'd be surprised. And then to put the Dodgers so far ahead of them, because don't forget, at the end, the Dodgers still have to play a 7-game series against whoever the other team is, and you have to win that series. So I'm never a fan of betting when somebody gets that far ahead as far as a favorite to win, any championship. I hate when they get that far ahead because they still have to play the championship.
The Dodgers, it's like last year. The Dodgers' trek to the World Series is tougher than the Yankees, but this so stacked, dude.
Yeah, they're the favorites to win. They're probably going to win again.
90.5 for the Yankees' wife for the win-loss total.
Now let's talk about PGA news. This is what Pat loves to talk about. Cameron Young won the Players' Championship last week by 1 stroke over Matt Fitzpatrick. And there were some big name struggles. Number 1 in the world, Scotty Scheffler, finished tied for 22nd.
Yeah, weird.
At a 5 under after a pedestrian week. And then Rory finished tied for 46th with a back injury. What is going on in the PGA right now as we head into the Masters soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting concerned about Scotty now. He's just not quite on. Like he's having what I'm calling throwaway rounds way too often, where he's shooting like a 75, usually early on, and whereas earlier in the year he was able to at least make some kind of a strong finish, but now he's sort of having those types of rounds like the third round or something like that, where it's just he's not clicking, and I don't know what it is. I mean, he's obviously a feel type player with the way he swings and all that kind of stuff. He's not a technocrat, with the swing being in the exact same spot all the time. So if something's a little bit off, like with his swing, that could be a major issue for him. So I'm not going to, again, count him out, but there's not really much between now and the Masters that he's probably going to play in. So he's got to get this thing tuned up, pretty quickly here. Rory, just like you said, hurt his back. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one and assume he'll be, ready to go for the Masters. But yeah, if you watch this thing, this was carnage. I mean, the wind kicked up. It got super dry. That last round, especially like the last hour and a half of that, I got to give Cam Young a lot of credit for going par, birdie, par to finish that. The wind was howling on those 3 holes, and it was super dry. And plus, you got the nerve factor. And for him, who only had 1 win up till now, and it wasn't a major like this is, I give him a lot of credit for staying calm. He said something, if you watch his interview afterwards, they asked him about the drive on 18, which is notorious one of the hardest holes out there. Just a really difficult dogleg right to left. And you got to hit it in a certain spot. You're either going to be in the water or you're going to be in some real rough area, and it's going to be hard to get a par out of it. And they asked him about that, his thought process on the drive. And he just said, I'm going to hit the best drive of my life, and did. It was the longest drive recorded on that hole, 375 yards. That's like staggering. So he had like a little pitching wedge, half pitching wedge in there, and got the par. Fitzpatrick 3-jacked it to finish out of the playoff, but that was nerves, and that's something that Cam Young should be able to take with him to any tournament now, and know that if he's got that capability with the mental side of this game, man, that's a huge thing. If you can hit shots and you can win, man, watch out. If you got the talent to back it up, which I think he does, he could be a name in these majors coming up.
Yeah, I think I'd be good on a PGA Tour because I'm supposed to be. I'm
not
supposed to
this
be
again.
terrible.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this, Noah?
I'm supposed to be god awful, so I line up for that shot, and I'm like, I got to hit this. There's no pressure because I'm supposed to shank that thing all the way into the.
And you
into
will.
the
And
water.
you will.
Why do you do this all the time?
So yeah, I am. I'm debating. I'm getting close to introducing myself into this game. I'm getting closer. The more we talk about it, the more interested I am. So
I can't wait till Pat gets the call. Hey, Noah's going to take some time off. He wants to join the PGA Tour.
And his response be laughing. What? Okay. No, but I was at work on Saturday, and I was checking in on leaderboard, and there was like not one name I knew. I'm like, no Scotty, no Rory, no one. I'm like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And this is like the big tune-up before the Masters. So I was stunned that no one, and it stayed the way it was, and it's wow, I'm stunned.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking for Cameron Young's name as we get to some of these other big majors, especially early on.
Is Scotty hurt? Do we know anything about him?
I don't know. He could
hadn't
be.
say anything about it.
It's been a rough month or two now for him, honestly.
Yeah.
Rory's got some back issues, but they're not saying that Scotty is injured right now. But now let's move on to NBA news. Let's talk about basketball. The Thunder keep on rolling. They're on a hot streak right now, and SGA has a record that Pat and I were talking about a little bit earlier. Now 129 straight 20-point games. Go ahead, Pat. Let's talk about this.
I got some trivia for Ernest. No, you can step in if you want to.
Okay.
I did a little research after Bam had the 83 points last week, and was second only to Wilt. I said, I got to look up. I know Wilt has some ridiculous records out there, but I want to confirm them and look them out. So I looked up several of these, Ernest, and you can tell me.
Okay. Paper and everything.
All right, so Michael Jordan has the second most 50-point games at 31. How many does Wilt have?
Second most, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got 31. How many does Wilt
He's
have?
got at least like 80.
He's got 118.
Wow.
All right,
Holy crap.
60-point games.
Holy crap.
Kobe has 6. How many does Wilt have?
This was mind-blowing.
Probably 30 or 40.
Yep, 32.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most consecutive 60-point games.
Consecutive.
He has 4. Nobody else has more than 1.
Consecutive.
Yeah, he has 60
point games?
4 consecutive 60-point games. He led the league in assists in 1967-68. Led the league in assists.
Wow.
He led the league in points per game in 61-62 at 50.4. He averaged 50 points a game for a whole
Which
season.
is exactly
Whole
why he's in my top
season.
5 all time.
He
Thank you.
averaged, he averaged in that season 48.5 minutes a game. So there's only 48 minutes in the game. So he played every minute of every. He missed one game that year, but in overtime he played every minute of every other game except the one he missed in that year.
Yep.
Wow.
With no days off? Like, he didn't need to
This
rest?
this is
Well,
why.
I mean, on his days off, we heard what he was doing. So.
Yeah,
but
it's
that's
even more unbelievable.
That's
when you know
what I'm
he was doing.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And this is why he's in my top 5 all time.
He had 55 rebounds
Has
in a
anybody
game.
done a research on that? Like, is there a science behind that?
That did.
He
don't know.
led in points and rebounds in 6 seasons. No one's done it once. He led in points and rebounds in 6 seasons, and no one's done it once.
Jeez.
He won the MVP in his rookie year. How many times did he foul out in 14 years playing, which is like 800?
I mean, 2 or 3.
0.
Really?
Never fouled out of a
I
game.
knew it'd be low. 0. Wow.
He's the
Amazing.
GOAT,
never
Ernest.
found
No,
out.
he's not. This is why people give me crap for this. Like,
He's the GOAT.
he's in my top 5 all time for
I know
that
you
reason.
say that, but you better move him up on that list.
I mean, are you gonna put him ahead of Jordan?
I don't put him ahead of Jordan just because I think in the era Wilt literally came around in an era where he was a man amongst boys.
Right.
Literally.
Yes.
He was so big and strong and just those guys in the late 50s and 60s didn't know anything how to deal with this kind of guy. Whereas Jordan had to do this, he wasn't the biggest person and all that stuff. But I'm not taking anything away from Wilt. I think he's probably number 2. Like some of these statistics are, and this is only some of them. There are like a zillion of them, that I X'd off. But yeah, like the 60-point game thing is staggering to me because we give so much credence, and rightfully so, to anybody that scores 60 points. He did it in 4 straight games, and he did it 32 times.
But he had to though, because and this is why he only has 2 titles, because that Boston team with Russell and Kuzi and all those guys, they're stacked. They're like they're the Warriors on crack for that era. So I mean, but the ring. This is why the rings don't always matter to the conversation. But again, Wilt is like. I look at Wilt like kind of like a LeBron in a sense where like he does everything for a team. He's the only guy in that team. Like he was like LeBron in Cleveland. It's kind of the same thing in a sense. A little bit different, obviously, in style, but. Wilt, this is why he's my top 5. People say, why is he top 5? Because this is why.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with those
No,
numbers.
yeah.
And SGA just passed him in the 20 consecutive 20-point games or more, which was like 120-something.
Yeah.
Which that's staggering, too. Just, again, getting 20 points.
Even in an offensive league like that, it is impressive. Because even there's a lot of those games where like they pull them in the fourth quarter because they up by 27 points in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I think these stats, as these records start to fall, somebody's going to come up with something, try to find like Bam with his, and then somebody's going to try to get to 100. It's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but somebody's going to.
If you had to guess, who would do it? If you had to guess a player right now, who would get 100? I mean, Bam obviously is unlikely to.
Bam would be like 30th on my list still.
Well, you have to get somebody who's a total screwball first. Like he's like, I'm going to go out and get 100. First, you got to get that guy, right?
Anthony Edwards.
You got to combine that with amazing talent.
I guess if you just fed Wembanyama and the other guys sort of, cleared out a little bit.
But Wemby's
for
a
him.
Wemby guy though. Wemby.
But if they said like if they're like we are feeding you every ball down low or he can shoot it too, but
yeah.
And you're playing the Wizards or somebody and they're just coasting.
Sorry, Wizards.
He could probably get close if that's literally what they did. They gave him the ball every time down and the Wizards
there's
just
just to me like a line of demarcation where when defense stopped being played in the NBA and the old records versus the new records.
Having said that, the Thunder, like since the All-Star break, have been rolling. Like
they have.
They entered in break kind of like I don't want to say struggling because they were dominant, but they had a little bit of injuries here. They lost a couple games here and there. But now since the All-Star break, they are back to where they were the first month of the year. And I think right now that the title goes through them and San Antonio at this point. I think those two teams are the favorites to win the title this year. And I even though I know that the Spurs have owned the Thunder this year, I have a hard time believing, though, in a 7-game series when it matters that the Spurs are going to be able to beat the Thunder, at least right now anyway.
Okay, Ernie, what about the Lakers? Lakers are playing well right now.
Oh, God.
They came back after Denver took the lead the other night and some late heroics in overtime by Luka. How do you think about the Lakers' chance going into the playoffs?
They're a good team. They're a very good team. They're 3 seed in the Western Conference. They're going to make some noise probably. But, again, they're sealing the second round of playoffs. They are not being San Antonio. They are not being OKC. So, to me, like, when you say contender, finals contender, to me, I always frame this on my podcast all the time. Do I see you playing in a conference championship? I don't. Because I don't see them being in those two teams. And quite frankly, I don't see them beating Denver either in a 7-game series. And honestly, I think Minnesota's better than they are. So, no, they're a good team, and they can make some noise. And maybe the injury here or there, we'll see what happens. But, no, they're not. They're sealing the second round of playoffs. That's it.
Okay, now the question I have for the NBA
I was
this
waiting
week.
all day for this.
No, I love this question because we were just talking about Wilt. We were just talking about the old days and this and that. My guy from our generation, and I say it as all people that were like, really into the NBA, like the 80s, 90s, 2000s. If I could pick one player from our generation that could still dominate in this game today, my guy's Larry Bird. Okay, I think that this is a guy who he didn't always have to be physical. He was a heck of a shooter, great defensive guy. I think he could play and dominate in any era. Which player from our generation could play right now, Pat? Put him on a team right now, and he's going to dominate.
Well, I'm going to go with the Doc, Julius Erving. I just think his athleticism and his ability to play above the rim, again, much like Wilt, somebody completely different than what the NBA was used to when he came in. Dr. J he was one of these, he was an acrobat playing basketball, and it took a while for teams to be able to adjust that if they could at all. I think he could still play in the. He's probably smaller than, what a lot of these NBA players are now at forward, but I still think with his athletic ability, he would figure out a way.
He was
to
6'8",
play
right?
Really. Yeah, but I think I'm talking about like he was.
Oh,
he
and
was
body-wise, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he was not like a big body guy. But like where Jordan transformed himself from kind of a skinny guy to a big body guy, and needed to do that to continue what he was doing. I don't know if Doc could do that or if he'd want to do that, but I even without that, I still think he'd be a hell of a player right now.
I agree. The only thing I was scared about Doc is the fact that he wasn't a great shooter. Now, granted, in that era, he didn't need to be, but he would have to add that to his game a little bit, which I think he would because he's that great a player. Look, Jordan's the easy answer, so let's take him to the side, okay? Because Jordan,
I don't even have him on my list.
Okay, I think Charles Barkley would dominate this era. Charles Barkley.
What?
You kidding me?
No, go ahead.
Charles Barkley is listed 6'6". He's not 6'6". He's 6'3" and a half, 6'4", and he was one of the best rebounders in basketball, and he's physical. You don't think he could do that in this soft league we have today? Come on now, Charles Barkley would dominate, and he actually probably win a title for once.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. All right, so
I'm going. Good answer.
You shot by that?
Yeah, I'm thinking more of the lines of, okay, there's no defense being played anymore, so I'm going to go with a shooter. I'm going with Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller, and you talk about one of the best guys ever of either shooting off the dribble, shooting a 3 off the dribble, or a set shot or whatever. There is nobody else. And I know you got Steph and all this stuff, but Reggie Miller is my guy. I think he would average 30 points or more a game based on his play style. I mean, he just stood there and he camped the 3-point line and he would light it up. And then you have other guys in there, maybe Glenn Rice.
That's my guy.
G-Money, I know.
Reason I'm a Heat fan in the first place, Glenn Rice.
Chris Mullin, you could throw him in there. But I really think those guys that were those the spot up shooters. I mean, they would be deadly in this game if you had too many of them on a team.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong that I think Reggie Miller's a little bit overrated?
Yeah, it's wrong.
I think his sister's better. I'll take Cheryl.
Well, yeah,
over
she
Reggie.
beat him.
I literally Reggie Miller, as far as basketball goes, is my absolute nemesis. Being a Knicks fan,
I know.
It's an absolute nightmare. But looking back on it, now that the trauma he brought to my life, I'm over it now. But now that's gone, he's doing all the choke things or whatever. You got to respect.
See, remember that series against the Knicks where like he had
I remember it.
No, wait, listen, the fourth quarter in the fourth quarter where he went nuts and Spike Lee in the choke thing.
Yeah,
they still lost that series.
Right.
They still lost that series in 7 games.
Right.
So I think he has some of the moments, of course, but again, he was someone that he really caught on late when Jordan retired. The first time, anyway. So, is he a great player? Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody.
No one's
Jordan got out of the way for everybody in that conference. Like once he got out of the way, yeah.
But there were guys like Mitch Richmond that got more pub than he did even before Jordan retired. Reggie has moments, and I'm not knocking Reggie at all.
Wow.
But I think he's a little. And I'm a fan of Reggie Miller, but I think he's a little overrated.
Do you think, like the converse of this question, like a guy that was good back then that might not be good, do you think a guy like Kareem would be good in the NBA now, or was that sort of his time?
He was someone that stayed healthy, too, also. So I think he would be able to run the – he ran the floor pretty well for a guy of his size, and that would be required to survive in this league with all the athletes we have now. I think he'd be fine. Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
because Wemby's an example of that because Kareem was like 7'2", right? 7'2"?
Yeah, he was just skinny, and I'm just trying to – like a guy like Wembyana is now getting some muscle on him, and I don't know how Kareem would be able to counter him. But
yeah, that's good. Okay, here's a guy who wouldn't even make – like Dennis Rodman, can he even play in this league?
Wow. Yeah, he would.
Well, what's he going to do?
If Draymond can, why can Russ?
What's Reggie? What is he going to do? What is he going to do?
He'll dominate the boards. He always does. And he's a
and then on offense, he's a huge liability.
Oh, no. I disagree with
So now you have him down low while guys are shooting over. He has no, like, and there's no putbacks.
People lock into Rodman and the Bulls. Look at Rodman in the Pistons years. He would score 10, 12, 13 points a game when necessary. He runs the ball well. And he's a phenomenal on-ball defender. What Draymond is, Rodman's better and then some.
Defense is not a thing anymore.
Well, but he would probably be one of the guys that bring it back.
We don't give Rodman enough credit. I mean, he was a master at his art. I mean, I saw an interview with him where he would analyze how the ball's going to come off the rim and the way it was bouncing and the directions and all these other things. He was a master at his craft. I'm a big Dennis Rodman fan, but I like all those answers.
Right, Mike. He chose not to score because that's what he chose to do. He didn't need to. You had Jordan, Pippen, Ron Harper, every scorer in the sun. I don't have to score. But
he can't shoot, Ernest. He couldn't shoot.
He didn't. Well, he didn't try to.
Well, he never worked on that either.
Yeah.
So.
Right, but again, I always say look at Rodman's Detroit years as a better comp of what he was as an all-around basketball player.
Okay.
That guy was phenomenal.
Before you.
Okay, let's talk about some sports betting picks for the week. As we go into March Madness, my pick right now, if I'm going to lay it out on one team, I'm betting $50 to win on the Arizona Wildcats to win the national championship, and 50 right now is going to win you $225. What are we looking at for sports bets, Pat?
Well, I can tell you right now, the Panthers, my team, have gone completely in the tank.
There it is.
You got to until they do something. They're actually now resting guys that I don't think are really hurt.
Are they done now?
But I think they've given up. Like, I really do.
Are we really done?
Like guys that normally would be playing last night against Vancouver, who's terrible, they're sitting them, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're just trying to get healthy for next year now. So they got poleaxed by Vancouver, who stinks, 6-2. They still got 2 more games on this West Coast trip. I wouldn't take them. If you're getting 2 goals, I wouldn't take it. So I think they're done. For March Madness, I know Duke's missing the one player that got hurt, but I think I'm still leaning towards them. So I don't know what their odds are to win it, but I would take my chances with Duke winning the whole thing.
The Panthers right now are, as we speak, in the cellar with my team, the Rangers. 5 points away. They are 13 points behind the 8th seed with less than a month ago in the season.
Yeah, and they're resting guys, Ernest, that aren't hurt, like stars.
Because
there's guys on the team I've never heard of before.
Because Pat, they have now officially waved that proverbial white flag. It's over, guys. See you next year.
I don't know. I get sort of, but they don't even have a draft pick that they're tanking for. I'm like, what? Don't you have any pride?
Saving legs, I guess. Again, it's a sports in a nutshell today in 2026. It's not just hockey; it's basketball, everything else too. If you don't see the light in the tunnel, I'm going to arrest guys.
Shame.
I get it, and I agree with you for the record. Bet picks of the week. Let me see. Get my here he goes. All right, typical. Light NBA schedule today. I'm going to go and do a 3-team parlay. The Nets plus 19.5 against the Thunder at home. The Celtics minus 11.5 at home against the Warriors without Steph again. And I'm going to take the under at 232.5 points on the Blazers-Pacers game. Keep it simple. Bet $25, make a little $173 and change.
All right, so somebody did all the work for us with these brackets already, right? There's brackets. So 1 versus 16. There's a reason why it is, because you have the worst team versus the best team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to key on the 8s and the 9s and those.
Ooh,
and I'm going to take all the teams getting points. So if you follow that and see, I'm going to see how we actually do with this. I'm going to take all the teams that are in,
You're going to take
in those
Clemson
brackets.
then, and I don't know about that.
I'm going to take it. So anybody who's getting the points, the brackets are set like this. I'm going to I'm actually going to wager. I was going to say I am going to wager that those teams in the end, because they're getting points in those close matchups, I'm going to come out ahead. So I'll keep you updated next week.
Yeah, all the upsets this year are going to be really either in the 8-9 you said, or 10-7, maybe 11-6.
Right.
But most upsets going to happen.
Points.
Most upsets going to happen probably in the second and third round, close to the Sweet 16. That's it. Not in the first round, honestly.
Points are great. It's like you bet and you get points. I mean,
by the way, being the 8-9 game is the absolute worst spot you can be.
Absolutely.
Because you got to play the number 1 team after
Absolutely,
that.
yes.
I think that is you get screwed if you're in the 8-9 game.
That's college basketball purgatory. That's purgatory.
Yeah.
That's the mushy middle.
Yeah, we want reseeding. So we need selection after Sunday. We need them to select again on Monday.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
like
we need.
They don't
like that.
Yeah, they don't reseed them back. Yeah, unfortunately.
Let's do it.
I'm a fan of
another great
reseeding.
idea. I have great ideas. Reseed after the first round.
Yep. Running down the national championship odds right now, Duke is first right now with plus 275. And you got Michigan at plus 350, the Wildcats at 350, the Gators at plus 700, and the one that I like for value, the Cougars from Houston are right now plus 1,000.
What's
Wow.
Purdue? Can you see Purdue by any chance? Purdue?
Purdue,
This should be that much lower.
Purdue is plus 2,500.
Somebody,
Why not?
Somebody here, give me a good reason why you don't reseed after the first round. I get there's travel
Because
and
the bracket.
stuff.
Because I mean, because I don't know.
If you
I'm a
play
fan of
each bracket
reseeding.
and you do it regionally, reseed. It would. I mean,
I think all sports reseed. Honestly, I think the NFL does it.
reseed.
NFL does it. The NBA should do it.
Yeah. Let's
I
talk
agree.
about what's going
Poker
on here
should
at
reseed, Mike.
PBKC.
Yeah.
It should. And those March high hands should reseed also. That's what's going on right now. The big giveaway is coming up on March 28th. And then we got Studio 54. They're in the paddock on April the 10th.
What do you know about disco,
awesome.
Ernest?
Oh, he knows everything. Sometimes
Disco.
My mom went there a couple times back in the 80s.
No,
so-
he's a big disco guy. I definitely saw.
I
old
love music,
pictures
you
of
My
know
him.
this.
dad, a little thing nobody knows about. My dad was a huge disco dancer.
Awesome.
Was he really?
Yeah, I don't have
Rocco,
to.
wow.
Thank God there was no video back then.
Damn.
Yeah, he was a big
Him
disco
and Noah
guy.
look so much alike. You would have thought it was Noah dancing
Probably.
back then.
Is Mike Tomlin in this band?
Oh my God!
Mike Tomlin's in there.
That's
I
his
was
new-
wondering what he was going
Yeah,
to
that's
do.
his-
He grew out
He's
his,
gonna
he
do
grew out his
that.
hair after retiring.
And you know what? He's a great singer too. I've seen him. He's
listen,
amazing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have to
More
change
power
his
to him.
We don't have to change his payroll.
Like
We
Kenny
just-
Rogers. Look like Kenny Rogers on the far right.
Kenny Rogers.
Far
Oh,
right.
okay. Yeah. My God. Yeah, okay.
Get us
well,
outta
we're-
here.
We're a
That's
mess.
Studio
We are a
50.
mess today, guys.
That's the Reaction Band, April 10th, Studio 54, dinner and a show, and the Rooney's 5K is coming up. That is on April 4th.
Volunteer.
I'm planning on running it, actually.
It's such a cool event, and they got the big breakfast afterwards, and it helps out some great local charities, which is the one thing we always do here, and we always help the local charities. We're not going after the national charities where you don't know where your money's going. We give checks to our own local charities, and we're giving them to 4 great charities right here in Palm Beach County. It's a Rooney's 5K, and that's April 4th. RunSignup.com/Rooney's 5K if you want to enter right now. And they got a deal right now for St. Patrick's Day where you get a little bit of money off. So
where?
check that out and enter now. That's the Rooney's 5K. What
Mike,
are we looking forward to
You
this
gonna
week?
run with me in this one? You gonna run with me? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm planning on running it.
Yeah, I'm
You're gonna
going to
run?
ride right next to you on a motorcycle while you're running
so
and
bad, bro.
pick
Mike,
you
stop
up
it.
off the ground when
I
you
can't
faint
stand you
and
sometimes,
go
know that.
down. But, Pat, what are we looking forward to this week?
Well, I mean, golf, we're doing the Valspar, which nobody cares about. Like Ernest said, NBA and hockey are now in that just before the playoff area where teams aren't like, unless they desperately need to win, are kind of trying to rest guys. You still got a lot of stuff going on with football. The draft's coming up in about a month. So it's one of those weird little bit of lulls that we have in the sports calendar. Baseball is starting, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to watch the golf, obviously, but now that the World Baseball Classic is over, I don't know where I'm going to go. So it's just one of those times in sports, but that's okay. I mean, I'll watch some of the golf and still be cheering on. Hopefully, my Phillies don't fall flat in their face, which I think they're going to this year. But yeah, you got the draft coming up in Pittsburgh, so that's always something you can look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA obviously it's pretty much chalk, although there's some interesting positioning going to the Eastern Conference right now. Tatum being back, of course, makes things interesting in the East. But yeah, it's all about March Madness for me, man. The first 2 days for me, like especially the Thursday, the first day, and I'm off on Thursdays for the record. I love it.
Oh.
I'm locked in. Like that's for those first couple hours, I'm locked in, and then a lot of upsets tend to happen in the 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock sessions too. So look out for that. But it's March Madness to me at this point.
Yeah,
How will the NCAA, before Noah gets in there, how's the NCAA going to screw up March Madness? They will screw this up in some way.
100%.
They screwed up the bowl system. They're gonna figure something out that they're like, we're gonna have to add this team.
They already did.
Something.
Yeah.
They're gonna
The first
they
four
will
crap
screw
is
this
stupid.
up.
The
I
first
agree with
four
you
is
on that.
dumb.
I agree with you. They'll figure some way. You're right. Those first 2 days, it's just constant games, and you know people are betting on it. And it's awesome, and they will figure out a way to screw it up.
Yeah, I'm going to incriminate myself here. I have a TV in my office. I got to test it out today to make sure it works for tomorrow. But that's the only time during my working hours when usually I'm just fully focused on being productive and doing my job. But that TV will be on, and I look forward to.
Can I get to my office? Can I get to my office too also?
No, you can't. You can stop by. You can stop by.
Okay, I will do
watch,
that.
But yeah, I'm watching. I like the coverage, and is it CBS again? I think they do a pretty good job of that, and they bounce around. And yeah, hopefully I won't have to go to too many streaming services to catch all the games. This
No,
time.
it's free. We're talking about it's free. You download the app and you're good to go.
Yeah, what a hassle. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, March Madness starts tomorrow at 12:15, so you got to get your picks in on the bracket, which is all over social media where you're at right now. So enter that bracket. You can win a ticket to a monthly $100,000 Monster Multi-Flight. That's a $300 value. Get those picks in now. Can't wait for March Madness. Can't wait for baseball season 1 week from today. And we're going to see you next Wednesday right here on PBKC.
Easy for you
What
to
is it
say,
called?
Mike.
He takes a week off. He moves it up.
PBKC. I can't even talk. PBKC.
Get in there, Noah. Get in
I'm
there.
your host next
Call the
week.
bullpen.
No, I ain't got it in front of me.
End the show, Noah. End the show.
Yeah.
Bullpen.
Bye.
PBKC is your entertainment destination for poker, table games, OTB, Paddock live events, and exceptional eats. The Paddock Restaurant is perfect for meetings, corporate functions, parties, fundraising, and more. Call 561-683-2222, extension 199, and book your next event today.
This or that.